With the area surrounding the outpost completed, I now wanted to start work on builds within the outpost itself. For this episode, we will be building a barracks, so the guards would have somewhere to sleep and take a break when they are off duty. We will begin with the mess hall. You may remember that in episode 1 I already built a mess hall within the gatehouse. That mess hall will be for guards on duty, whereas this one will be for the off-duty guards. This solves the issue of the previous mess hall being a bit too small. You will probably recognize some of the design cues for this build. I've basically recreated a portion of the medieval blacksmith set, but there are a lot of changes made for this build. Here is just a one-floor building and the roofing is totally different, but the timber framework and the wall color scheme remains the same. For the roof, I had to come up with a completely new layout since I wanted to incorporate battlements into the build. Basically, this mess hall will be leaning against a wall, so it needed to have battlements up top for defensive purposes. Regular channel viewers would know that I've always built thatched roofing for my builds, but this time I wanted to build shingle roofing instead. This location is meant to be quite arid with low crop yield, so supply of straw and reeds would be too limited for thatched roofing. I used dark bluish grey 1x2 tiles here, since it's the highest quantity color I have. I found this roofing technique from another video, which I will link in the description below for those who are interested in a full breakdown. But here's an example of the inner workings for this technique. To place this build, I first had to expand the diorama behind the gatehouse section. As mentioned in the previous episode, the irrigation channel for the crop fields up front runs through the outpost at this barracks section. I created a bend in the channel here to give more room for the builds. The mess hall is placed off-grid for a more natural look. It is wedged in place between studs surrounding it instead of being connected down. I had to do it this way for a more accurate placement to minimize gaps between sections of the palisade walls. The next build is the sleeping quarters for the guards. This build uses the same techniques as the mess hall but altered for different dimensions. We have bunk beds inside to maximize capacity, but I was only able to fit 6 beds without cramming things too much. You might remember in episode 1 the gatehouse had an armory inside. Here for this build I added some weapon racks for emergency use. But I don't think another full armory build was needed here. This building leans against a wall that faces the village, so a battlement wasn't required since this is the safer side, but I added a watchtower in this corner just in case. The palisade walls on this side features sharpened tips since there are no battlements behind them. I wanted to separate this area off from the rest of the outpost by building more palisade walls with a smaller entrance gate. This is because the outpost itself acts as a gateway to the kingdom, so there will be a flow of people walking through the outpost, which meant that the barracks had to be separated out from the public area. I ran out of brown log profile pieces for the walls and had to order more from Bricklink. After receiving the parts, I decided to mix in some Technic types anyways to conserve parts for later. I usually prefer the brick build type simply because I can mix in dark brown. For the Technic wall, I had to use black instead. With the barracks done, I wanted to turn my attention back to the front and expand the crop fields, since the story segment for this episode will be taking place here. These two 48x48 grey base plates will be the remainder of the crop fields. Beyond this point will be the forest, which will come in a future episode. The terrain work here is a continuation of episode 2, where the path gradually leads down to the lower elevation. I was able to fit in one more of these snot rock panels, but the rest of the rock work will have to be regular studs on top since the height is too small. I built a continuation of the irrigation channels using the same brackish water color scheme, but I wanted to create some variations in the layout here, instead of the regular 4-way split in the channels for the fields in episode 2. For the levels with 2 brick height change, I created retaining walls to emphasize the idea that these fields were dug into the hillside by giving it the man-made look.
The fields are burning!
The farmhand cried.
Grab the buckets! We can't lose the harvest!
As the farmers rushed to fight the flames, cloaked figures emerged silently behind them.
Behind you!
From a distance, Rolf and his wife watched in horror. One of the cloaked figures turned and locked eyes with them.
Run!
Rolf shouted, grabbing her arms. Rolf, what happened down there? Lewis asked.
It's them! Hurry!
The fields lay in ruin, but the assailants had vanished without a trace.
They're all gone, but I swear I saw them. Cloaked, white masks, just like the farmhand said.
They must have retreated into the woods, but which way? No time to track them now. Let's get the fire out and report to the captain. Captain, it was them, the masked men. He said he saw them striking down these farmhands. Captain Hewitt's jaw tightened. So it's true. They're getting bolder, attacking here of all places. Should we pursue them into the woods, sir? Sergeant Steven and his men are still down south checking that homestead. We're too few to mount a proper search. Once they return, we'll plan our next move. Until then, post extra watch. Keep the men sharp. Lewis looked at the fallen. What about the farmhands, sir? Bring them back and cover them well. In their state, we don't want to spread panic through the village, the captain said grimly. I'd like to give a big shout out to our channel members supporting the creation of Scarellis. With a special thank you to our captains, Brendan Bundyboy Davies, Karnosh, Kaya Fried Rice 38, and Omni Khan. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.